Welcome to edition 83, part 76,000 of All Killa, No Filla podcast with me, Rachel Fairburn, and Kiri, Pritchard-McLean. Just before we start, we'll do our usual disclaimer. This isn't hero worship. We do this podcast because of mutual interest in serial killers. As long as we are doing this podcast, it stops us from writing to them in prison.
I'm going to write to someone in prison and complain about the length of this fucking podcast because I really thought we'd have these utter arseholes out of our lives, and I'm 5 pages in and they've not even been arrested yet.
Yeah, something that we thought was going to be, this is a quick ep before we do the big Crimbo ep. Mm-hmm. No, it rolls on.
It's hell. In many ways, we're the biggest victims of this
I would agree with that.
spree killing. Obviously, we don't think that. Have you had a nice week, Rachel Fairburn?
I have, to a degree. Well, I'll tell you what, because I'm doing my tour dates, the week is just flying by. It's the first day I've been at home for nearly a week, but I'm in a state of upheaval because I need to move.
Oh, yes.
And I can't at the moment until...
You're trying to move in the middle of a tour?
Until people get their shit together. So, I'll be honest, I'm glad I'm staying in hotels and I'm not at home.
Yeah,
which is quite a... it's like, But you know what? It'll all be fine. But I've had a nice week. Have you?
Yes, and sort of took some time off to catch up on things after Aberystwyth Comedy Festival, and then I managed to work non-stop for those 2 days. Took them off from my writing job and have nothing to show for it. I've still not caught up on any of the other writing jobs that I wanted to do. And then I went for a night out on Saturday night with my rugby team, which was as spicy as you imagine. Yeah, at one point they met we went out in Carnarvon, and there was a guy there, 23 years old, on a night out in a gilet, so already, that fills in some blanks. Obviously there's just 15 gregarious women on a night out, so he was came over, and then he's from a place near Carnarvon, which is the next town along from Bangor, where I would have normally gone out, and he was like, "Oh, what are you girls up to?" And the girl organising it, Tyler, was like, "Oh, we're on a night out." And she's like, "We're going to Bangor afterwards." And he's like, "I've never been to Bangor." Right,
What?
Yeah, it's 4 miles away or something like that. He's 23 and he's lived there his whole life and never been to Bangor. Bearing in mind it's his nearest city. She was like, "Oh, well, because you pay for a bus." So she was like, we all had a bit more to pay. She was like, "Well, you can come with us, but you'll need to give us 20 quid for the bus." And he's like, he just ran to the cash point immediately and gave it to her. So we all had to pay a lot less. And then every picture of our team on the night out has just got this man from near Carnarvon in a gilet in the middle of it.
Did he enjoy himself?
I think he had a lovely time. He certainly added all the very attractive girls from our team on Facebook the next day. So, yeah, honestly, I think he had the time of his life.
Wow.
But I imagine someone's going to get murdered now.
Well, I don't know. Or his horizons have been expanded a little bit. He's been to the next town.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Well, do you know what? This is the weird thing where I would sort of make a shitty parochial joke about, people from a certain area not even of going to Bangor or it being exotic. And then you meet someone, you're like, oh, yeah. There are some people who just have quite small worlds, quite busy worlds as well. I think he worked on his dad's farm. So, yeah, of course he wouldn't have been to Bangor because, the buses don't run.
It's funny to think about that. I mean, some of my grandparents from Wales, I doubt they ever went anywhere other than the area that they lived in.
Yeah.
There was no reason for them to.
That's true.
They lived and worked there. So it was like I doubt there was any reason for them to go any further. But that was then, and now it's 2021.
Yeah, and where's he got the gilet from?
Look, this is the second time this has happened to me in a week. So obviously spent quite a bit of time in Lincolnshire, rural Lincolnshire, because Tim's family lived there. There was a man came into a chip shop. Also, everyone knows each other, and I fucking hate that.
I love it.
Oh, it annoys the shit out of me. I lived in the same area of Manchester for most of my life. I saw people every single day. I just gave them a nickname in my head. Never fucking spoke to them. This young man came in Wellingtons and a gilet, and he's like, "Oh, that's so-and-so who his dad's a farmer. He works on a farm too." I was like, well, I would never have guessed. But I was like, what fucking man under a certain age is wearing a gilet? I know it's a practical garment, but...
My mum fucking absolutely buzzes off a gilet.
Do you remember when they were fashionable?
No.
When the Trinny and Susanna thing?
I think they reek of Tory or rural worker.
Yeah, sometimes that's the same thing.
That's true. That's why I use the word worker. I don't see many Tories putting in a fucking shift in the countryside.
The gilet. Yeah, they used to have you get ones with furry hoods and things like that.
Yes. I do remember them. I think it's much funnier to pronounce it Gillet.
Gillets.
But, you know, you take your last way you can, Rachel. Speaking of,
Yeah.
let's go back to these absolute twats. So,
Just to recap, we are talking about the Sunset Strip killers here.
yes. So this, to transport you back to where we were, because we got distracted, the Sunset Strip, Doug had been down there. It's about April 1980. He picked up Gina and Cynthia.
Before this, there is an attempted murder that we learn about after he's been
And we got that one.
reprimanded. We've not done that yet.
I thought we had.
No.
Do you know what? Cover it for luck.
I mean, if we have, I do apologise, but we're just going to make sure we get everything down here. So the attempted murder was April 27th, 1980. It was a woman called Charlene. At 10 p.m, she's working along the strip as a sex worker, and Doug Clark pulls up, and he says, "Can I have oral sex, please?" Now, she gets in the car, and he starts stabbing her repeatedly in the back, her neck, arms, and her chest. Now, she is shocked, as you would be, and in her panic, grabs the knife in her hand and severs the tendons in it.
Jesus
and she
fucking
says to him, "Mister, you're hurting me. Well done for keeping your manners in this situation, Charlene." And he says, "I know," right? Now, she escapes then, and later on she identifies him from a lineup when he's been captured. I think this has probably happened several times before as well, but just hasn't been reported.
I think I agree with you there. I do think that other women would potentially have got away. I also think there's women that he killed that we probably don't know about.
Yeah, I'd
Because
agree with that.
There's one that we'll talk about, we don't even know her name, just what she was wearing.
The first murders, he picks up two half-sisters. This is Gina and Cynthia. Now, Gina, depending on... The thing is, everywhere I've looked, nowhere has the correct surname for her. It's like they can't be asked.
Yes.
There's Gina Marino. We'll call her Gina Moreno. And Cynthia Chandler, who was 16. Now, these are half-sisters. They were from Huntington Beach, and they were runaways. They'd hitchhiked to LA.
They were really good in school, popular, good grades, and then they changed schools and everything sort of went wrong. Their parents were very kind of strict Christians, so they think that they started rebelling against that, and they got in with the wrong crowd. So they soon started just like running away a lot for a day or a couple of days, skipping school all the time, and that's when they sort of end up on the Sunset Strip engaging in sex work.
So this needs questioning, in my opinion. On June the 1st, they attended a party held by Mark Gottersman, who was a wealthy attorney. Now, he has his party at his home with lots of his clients there, lots of well-to-do people, and allegedly some famous people. What are 15 and 16-year-old girl doing at this kind of party? Someone needs to fucking...
Well, the same thing they're doing at Epstein's party in more recent times, and I've got absolutely no fucking doubt that kind of shit still goes on.
Oh,
It's
yeah, 100%.
Powerful people exploiting vulnerable people, isn't it?
So they meet a woman called Mindy Cohen there, who's a guest at the party, and she actually spoke to the two girls. Now, Gina actually took Mindy's address and wrote it in her address book as well. June the 10th, the girls are hitchhiking again, and Henry Briggs, who's a truck driver, he picks them up. He's like a bit concerned about them because they're very young girls, and he gives them his business card, which has got his and his siblings' numbers on, and he drops them at the entrance to a freeway ramp. Now, this is the last time anyone ever sees them. So at 1:30 p.m, which is 2 days later on June the 12th, the police were called to another freeway ramp near Forest Lawn Cemetery, which is a posh cemetery. It's not like the other cemetery where all the celebs are. It's like the B one to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's some interesting people buried in there. There's Alfred P. Southwick, who was a dentist who invented the electric chair.
And
Liberace, yeah. Michael Hutchins.
Oh, yeah, Michael Hutchins. There's enough cool people, so it's not embarrassing to be there.
Yeah. Anyway, so the police are called to there, and they find the bodies of the two girls. Now, Cynthia had a pink jumpsuit wrapped around her legs, and the inseam had been cut to her genital area. Gina was just wearing a red boob tube top that had just been pulled down around her waist. Now, they'd both been shot in the head and the heart, which is just really horrible. Doug Clark had obviously taken some of their clothes as well, hadn't he, as souvenirs.
So he said what happened is he picked them up on the Sunset Strip. Cynthia was filleting him, and then he said to Jean, he was like, "Don't watch." And she's like, "I'm not looking away." And he's like, "Look away now." And she refused, so he shot her in the head. Cynthia then starts panicking. He shoots Cynthia. Now, weirdly, neither of them died after being shot.
Ugh.
So he shoots them again. He then takes them to this rented garage that he has. Now, it's about 4 p.m. and while they're in there, he's sort of lying them out. Gina actually raises her arm. So even though she's been shot twice, she's still alive. But he's like,
God.
he doesn't shoot her again. He's like, oh, she will die soon. So he's in there for the whole fucking day, posing their bodies, raping their dead bodies. And that's, yeah, he's absolutely horrible. His whole fantasy was about the vaginal contractions that happen during death spasms, which he
Very
told...
specific.
It is, isn't it? And he told Carol, like, this is what I'm after. And this is my sort of aim for it. And he did actually tell Carol about these murders. And she was really worried after the first set. And she called the police and said, listen, I know something about these murders. Wouldn't say what. And she gave a false name. She said she was called Betsy. So she wouldn't name who did it, but she just said, I know something about it.
I have a theory about this. I think she helped him. Because
Really?
I don't care how strong you are. I just don't think there's any way. I mean, bear in mind, you've just killed 2 people. You then take them to, like, a lockup. You have to take them out of the car. And then, you know, you're doing whatever awful things you want to do to them. And then you take them elsewhere, pose them, and dump their bodies. I just think that's a 2-person job. I don't think that's a 1-person job.
No, that's true. Well, her version of events is that he left her a note saying, I need to talk to you. And then... in the meantime, he sort of came home and she said, oh, I need to go shopping. Can I borrow the Buick? And he's like, yeah, okay. So she goes into the back of it and finds a duffel bag full of clothes and a blanket and just covered in blood.
I have several issues about this. First of all, why are you asking to borrow the car that you fucking bought, Carol?
Because she's not the most empowered woman in the world, is she? We already know that.
But carry on.
I love that's your first problem with this after sort of 5 hours
Hang on a
talking
minute.
about them.
Now it's gone too far.
But this is classic Carol. She takes those clothes and that blanket covered in blood and she takes them to a laundry and she cleans them all for him.
Fucking idiot.
So she's in this weird sort of position and then Doug tells her about the murders and she takes that as like, what an honour. He's chosen me to tell and not his girlfriend. And that means that only I can fulfill his fantasies. And she had sort of had one thing over on this woman then. She had this great secret about him. So she absolutely buzzed off knowing that he'd murdered and that he'd chosen to tell her as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, fucking hell. She is really getting up my fucking nose. And him. It really pissing me off.
So June 14th, 1980, Doug comes round to Carol's house and he says, you're going to want to watch the news because I did this. So it's a knock on the news and it's a story about a murder of someone called Vic Was. So his body was found in the boot of a Rolls Royce that was in a garage at Sheraton Universal Hotel. And she was like, why have you killed him? And I don't think that he did, because why has he gone from killing all women to suddenly doing it? And he said, this is the lamest thing in the world. He went, yeah, the mafia asked me to do it for them as a way to sort of initiate myself, so I just did it. So I think that is him being Billy Bullshitter there.
100%. 100%. That is bullshit.
Absolute bullshit. So Doug says to Carol, I want to go for a drive with you the next day. And Carol's like, okay. And according to Carol, they drive around and they discuss the murders and they discuss Carol knowing, and they sort of go, right, well, should we kill you? What if you tell someone? And she's like, yeah, maybe you should kill me, actually, I'm not sure. So it's a really fucking mad conversation where she's like, I mean, I promise that I won't tell anyone. And he's like, okay, I don't know if I can trust you to be loyal. He drives her to this ravine. It's at the foothill of Boulevard, and he said, this is where I dumped one of my victims. He doesn't even know her name, just that she's a young sex worker who is blonde. And he killed her the night of the Datsun test drive, which we knew that he took someone out because there was that, you know, the gear stick was cracked and there was a ricochet mark on the door. He's talking about Marnet Coma. Yeah, Marnet Coma is that 17-year-old runaway. And he was like, yeah, I took her clothes off, but I kept her pants. And I gave the rest of the clothes to the 11-year-old child that he's grooming in the apartment. So she basically says, I'm going to stand by you. I'm the person you can do all this with. And then starts to incessantly talk about murder. And it's their thing that they bond over. And she thinks, great, this is my way into having sex with him. And that leads us on to the first murder that they do together.
The whole thing knocks me fucking sick.
Yeah.
Well, we've got Karen Jones before that. Karen apparently was just murdered by Doug. Allegedly, Carol's not involved with this. So, June 23rd, 1980, Karen Jones is working as a sex worker at 2:15am. A police officer speaks to her and says, look, don't be loitering around here. And then at 2:30am, the people who live in the neighbourhood hear a scream. And then at 3:15am, Karen's body was found lying in a pool of blood. Now, she'd been shot by the same gun as Cindy and Gina.
Yeah. Now, the first murder they did together was a sex worker called Kathy. They picked her up at Hughes Market, Highland Avenue in Hollywood. When they picked her up, she's a young-looking girl, and they picked her up by her outfit. She had a cool outfit on. She had these cowboy boots, this maroon dress, and a little, bolero jacket. She was 17, but she looked younger. Now, Doug had called her over, and she just ignored him and was like, yeah, I'm ignoring this weirdo. But then, weirdly, Carol was in the back, and that felt more reassuring, because I guess they thought, I'm not going to get murdered while a woman's there. So Carol was
Shades of the West here.
It is really.
And the Moore's murders.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
So she was sat in the back with this .25 caliber in her purse, and they'd come up with this little code that if she said, boy, am I having a blast, it meant that she was going to shoot the sex worker they picked up, right?
Ugh.
So she gave her name as Barbara, which is the worst sort of panicked out name ever. And then she said, they basically had this thing is like, if you don't say anything, then I'll just pay for the fellatio and you can just watch that. So they agree on a fee, they agree on $30, and they drive behind a petrol station. Now, Doug couldn't get an erection and starts to get angry. And so he signals to Carol, I want to kill her. And then Carol was like,
it's everyone else's fault, isn't it?
Yeah. And then Carol says, oh, well, I was meant to kill her, but then I got nervous. And he can't reach his gun because Kathy's still trying to sort of fillet him, so she's in the way. So he takes Carol's gun. He was like, give me the gun, signals to her. She hands it to him the wrong way. So he's like, what the fuck are you doing? I haven't got one in my hands. So they start to have this argument. And then Kathy's like, what the hell is going on? And sort of tries to sit up. As Kathy sits up, she gets shot. Now, she doesn't die. Now, weirdly, Carol was very calm and she just sort of watched everything like she was trying to take it in, like she's back being a nurse and trying to be a good student. Now, there's rumours that she also takes photographs of it, although they're never found.
Ugh.
One of them testifies to the fact that Carol would take photographs. So Carol gets in the front and has Kathy's head on her lap, so she's just bleeding out onto her blouse. Doug had brought all these paper towels, so he's like, come on, Carol, you clean up and you hide Kathy under my denim jacket as they drive somewhere a bit quieter. And then they undress her together and realise she's not dead. So
fucking hell.
Just absolute hell for this poor woman. They drive to nearby Maggie Mountain, which is an amusement park, and they find sort of a dirt road.
Oh,
near
Magic
it.
Mountain.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Oh, what did I said Maggie. It's because my handwriting's bad and I'm pronouncing it like it's a Welsh
I was
word.
going to say
Maggie Mountain. Mynydd Maggie, yeah.
That's my that's my alter ego. Maggie Mountain.
That's what I look like after Christmas. So they find this dirt road with a stream nearby. So they stop, they drag her out and they just dump her in the bushes. They don't even know she's dead or not. They don't get home until 5 a.m. And next day, the Buick is full of blood. And Doug's girlfriend at the time has a son, right? He's a kid. And he says, why does it smell like raw meat in the Buick?
Oh, Christ almighty. This keeps getting worse.
Yeah, I'm only on page 2. I got 3 more to go, mate.
Fucking hell.
He says,
for the benefit of the tape, it's just gone 8 a.m.
So he says, oh, I hit a cat with the car and I put it in the car and that's why it smells like that. So there's then a huge argument between Doug's girlfriend and Doug. She's like, why are you letting that absolute weirdo Carol near my child? Because she is bonkers and I don't want her anywhere near my child. So Doug had been sort of going off this woman anyway and dumps her. That's the only sort of reason he needs. And that's when he goes and kills someone on his own on the Sunset Strip that night. So there's 3 girls who are working together. None of them would get in with him in the car. And then eventually 2 of them go off and work. And so it's just one blonde in a pink dress. And that's when he picks her up, isn't it? So he drives her to the Sizzler restaurant, which is on Ventura Boulevard at Studio City. Now, she's giving him fellatio, an absolute classic for this lad. And he shoots her. Now, he doesn't quite kill her. It sort of grazes behind her ear. So she, fair fucks to her, bites down on his genitals.
Ugh.
Weirdly, he didn't account for that. And so he shoots her again, takes her clothes off, steals a green ring from her right hand, and then gets his murder bag out with his knives in, his bin bags, his paper towels, his bleach and his gloves, and then removes her head and puts it in a bin bag.
I hate this. I can't tell you how much I hate this. It is one of the worst things I've ever read. He then dumps her body in an alleyway, which is found the next morning at 7:15am. Now, her red dress was cut up and it was put in a dumpster next to the body. Now, 4 days later, the body was decapitated, as we've just mentioned. Now, 4 days later, at 1am, 27th of June, a wooden box, an ornate wooden box, is found in an alleyway. So it's obvious this box is intended to be found. And X's head was in the box. Now, he'd taken the head home with him and done whatever it is he wanted to do to it. Carol had got involved by putting makeup on it.
Well, it was Carol's house he took it to.
Ugh.
And he put it in the freezer.
Do you know what
Carol
pisses me off? It's bad enough when people sort of come to your house and bring stuff with them. That is it. Like, do you know what I mean? When people just say, "Oh, can I just leave this here?" It's like, yeah, fine, whatever. And then suddenly, it's fucking. I would draw a line there. Let me tell you.
Also, you never have enough freezer space, so having a head in there as well.
Oh.
Well, Carol gets very involved in this. So she's like, don't worry, I'll take care of it. So she cleans up the head, puts makeup on it, and she says, gosh, it was like having a big Barbie doll. And then he would be like, right, I want to go in the shower with her. So she would like
fucking hell
do her makeup ready for it, and then he would do whatever. I'm sure you can imagine what he did with her in the shower. He went back to find the other two women that she was working with. So on his way back from murdering Exie, he sees her mate Karen Jones and goes, oh shit, she's a witness. So Karen gets in the car with him, not knowing that Exie's head is in the back. Awful. So he drives to Burbank Studios, he pulls out a gun and he shoots it in the left temple. They know what time it was because all the dogs in the yard nearby go absolutely wild. He steals her earrings, he takes her cash, and he just pushes her out the car. And both bodies were found pretty much within 24 hours. They were friends as well who'd moved from Little Rock, Arkansas. And Karen had started doing sex work so she could support her little boy. And it was the only way really to get sort of regular money and work. He tried to find the third woman that they were with, but he couldn't find her because he wanted to have fewer witnesses. So he's driving around for a while, and then that's when he ends up back at Carol's with Exie's head ready for the freezer.
You can imagine Carol and Doug sitting there planning this together, I think, because in the box with Exie's head were a t-shirt and jeans and a t-shirt that said Daddy's Girl on it. Now, they weren't Exie's clothes. This was a clue to another murder. So these clothes actually belonged to Marnette Comer.
Really?
Yeah, who had been killed before Exie, obviously. Her body was found on the 30th of June. It was found nude and it was found just in a ravine off the freeway. Now, she'd been dead between 20 and 40 days. Now, the last time she'd been seen, she was wearing that distinctive T-shirt that said Daddy's Girl on it and a pair of jeans. So there was the clue to the murder, which... I have to admit, the whole thing is fucking awful. Like, I genuinely think this is one of the worst... I don't know why this case isn't better known than it is.
Yeah. It's horrific.
It's one of the worst ones that we've ever done, I think.
Well, they don't work well together as a murder team. They argue an awful lot. For a start, Doug does mad shit. Doug calls a friend of Exie's and Karen's and says, I'm a police officer, I want to ask you some questions about this. And did you see the guy they got in the car with? And she was like, no. And so he questions her as a police officer, but he does give his own name. So later on, when she is actually questioned, she's like, oh, it was Doug something? Doug Clark?
Oh, my God. The guy's a fucking idiot.
Well, they are fucking idiots, because also they just bicker about the maddest shit. So Carol would take poor Exie's head out, would clean it up and do makeup, and she's really bad at doing makeup. So Doug would be like, you've made her look worse. So then they would have a massive argument about that. And then she's like, okay, we need to get rid of the head now. So she does her up, and he's like, no, it's covered in your fingerprints. And she's like, oh yeah. So she has to rinse it all off and start again before they put it in that chest. Oh God.
Can I be honest? If I was reading this as a work of fiction, I'd be like, well, this has gone too far.
Yeah.
This would never happen. But unfortunately, it has.
Carol fucks up dropping the head as well. There's a massive argument. So basically, they slow down at this alley. It's on Hoffman Street. It's about a mile away from where her body is left. So there's this treasure chest that she bought from a charity shop or something with a head inside. It's covered in plastic bags so it doesn't leak. So she takes off the bags and Carol throws it, but she hasn't got great eyesight, so she doesn't throw it very far. And they go to drive off, and then they hear wood breaking. They ran over the fucking box.
Right.
So
these people are a pair of fucking idiots. I'm getting frustrated at them. Like, I hate them, but at the same time, I'm like, you're like the fucking Marx Brothers or something. Or the Keystone Cops.
Yeah, Keystone Cops is exactly what I was going to say. They're this just mad sort of like guy to everything. So she starts to get out the car to sort it out. A car pulls up, so then there's a witness. So Doug fucking loses it, bollocks her, and she just takes it and throws the box a bit further away and then speeds off. Now, at this point, the Buick is covered in evidence, so they need to flip it. So they basically sold it to someone very cheap in Jürgen's soap factory where he's working. So they can't be identified by that. Exie has found her head, anyway, on June 27th by a guy called Jonathan Covello. He sees the box in a parking space. He's like, oh, that's a fancy box that's a bit broken. Picks it up, and then inside, obviously wrapped up in this jeans and t-shirt, he finds Exie. Obviously loses his mind with stress, calls the police. But this point where she sort of bungles getting rid of Exie's head is where their relationship really starts to rot. Carol assumed that doing all this stuff together would mean that they would move in and they would start, because it's such intimate acts, that they would get closer together and they'd start having sex. And of course he's like, no thanks. But he's banging other women. They're just constantly having arguments. Now, the only time he was interested in having sex with her is when she would bring the 11-year-old around, the child around from the other apartment.
Poor Shannon, the girl that's been abused by Doug.
He'd been molesting poor Shannon for nearly a year. And then he even would take her out to watch him have sex with sex workers. And he does this very weird thing where he says, why don't you suggest to Carol that we have sex with each other? It's so mad. So, because he wants to have sex with this child, but he's like, if it's her idea, then it's fine. So she suggests it to Carol, and Carol's appalled. And then Doug went, you know what, it's a really ugly trait, is jealousy in people. I actually hate that. And so Carol is like,
fucking guy.
Mad, right? So Carol goes, oh, hold on, this might be my way into having sex with Doug. So they start showering together, and they would both, like, administer oral sex to Doug. Obviously, it's rape in one case because it's a fucking child. And Doug would sort of shower the Shannon with, like, gifts. And
Can I be honest? Can I just interject here? All of this is awful. So are people that have showers together. Couples who shower together. Fuck off. Can you just wash on your own? Like, do you need to spend that... Like, have some alone time. Couples who bath together. No fucking thank you.
Oh, I love a bath with a partner. My partner's too tall. It's like having a bath and keeping the spider in it.
I hate it. I hate it.
You never banged in the shower, mate?
I'm not interested. No, that's for washing and getting tidy and clean. That's time for me to relax. I don't want someone getting in there with me.
But I think it's great because you can just, like, wash all the debris away.
No, thank you. Awful. Just have some private time.
Well, obviously, like, I don't want to... then one of us will leave because I don't want to see him squelch his arsehole clean.
Yeah, but a fucking... Couples having baths together. It's gross.
I think it's quite nice, but yeah, my partner just hates baths because he doesn't like the fact that his bell end floats. And he's just too long, too lanky to be in a bath with me.
But also the other thing is with me, I'm often too small for most baths, so I end up sort of skid into the other end, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then sort of having to pull myself back up. It's just not fun. Maybe I do need someone else in there, actually, to hold my legs down.
Now, it's getting to the point where these murders, these Sunset Strip killers, are getting well known. Sex workers wouldn't get in cars solo, so it got much harder for Doug and Carol. So Carol is really struggling with this because she thought, this is it, this will fix our relationship, but all he's interested in doing is having sex with a child. So she calls her ex, that Richard Gase, you know, the sci-fi guy and the porn guy.
Yeah, the nice guy. The nice guy.
Yeah, the nice guy. So she tells him about all these killings, and he's like, fucking hell. And he said, you need to leave him. And she's like, I can't, he'll kill me. And then, obviously, Richard's really worried. She calls back about 10 minutes later and goes, I was only joking, you know, I was just trying out a story on you. It was a writing exercise to test the story to see if you believed it. And he's like, okay, well, that's fucking strange. Obviously, she's just trying to back out of it. But she starts to tell a lot of people now. At work, things are unravelling for Carol. So she used to be a brilliant nurse, but now she's very inconsistent. She's quite erratic. No one actually wanted to work with her in the hospital. And on July the 29th, she attempts to take her own life. So she leaves a note for Doug saying, I'm going to kill myself. This is how I'm going to do it and where I'm going to do it. And then she's like, and then Doug will come and rescue me, and it shows how much he loves me. Doug doesn't fucking turn up. In fact,
God.
So she starts to sort of drift off because she's stolen drugs from work. And then is like, oh shit, I'm actually going to die here. So she drives very drowsily to the car park of a grist mill, which is a restaurant, which sounds horrible. Don't call your restaurant grist mill. And she passes out and she wakes up, there's paramedics there. Now, Doug has called the paramedics, but only because Carol's work phones up and goes, is Carol with you? And he's like, no. And she's like, yeah, she's meant to be in today, but she called in sick saying she's going to take her own life. So we were just wondering if she was at home. And he was like, no.
And is she going to be in tomorrow?
Yeah, she's going to be in tomorrow because otherwise someone's going to have to cover that shift. And Sally's already done a double this week. So he called the paramedics and said, oh, she'll be in this area, and they find her. She's taken to St. Joseph's in Burbank. And it isn't Doug who picks her up. It's Jack Murray who comes.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so all these fucking weird men are drifting in and out. Now, on August the 1st, she picks up Shannon, takes her over to the flat to keep Doug busy, basically. And she heads out to go and see Jack. Now, Doug leaves with Shannon and takes her, he's basically cruising. So he picks up a sex worker. We don't know anything about her other than the fact that she's dressed in black and purple. He pays her for oral sex, makes Shannon watch it. Drops her back off at home, and then takes the sex worker out again and says, right, okay, you give me oral sex again. And he does what he normally does, and he shoots her in the head while she's doing it. Now, this is really dark. He takes her body out and props her over the bonnet and then rapes her as she's dying. And then he just dumps her in Antelope Valley by a stream and tells Carol about it. Oh, fucking hell.
Right, that's me done. I'll speak to you later.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the one that stops me from doing the podcast ever again.
I cannot
It's so horrible.
be doing with this. It's fucking awful. Ugh.
So Carol is back trying to seduce Jack, and he says, only if you got another woman, doesn't he?
So basically, Carol then starts to sort of speak to Jack. She's going to his place of work where he's performing. She starts to get pissed and she starts sort of mentioning, oh, this is what's happening, this is what Doug's doing, this is what I'm doing. But she's offering him sex as well, because he's like, I'm going to call the police because this is fucking weird. And she's like, oh no, I'll have sex with you. And he goes, yeah, all right then, only if there's another woman involved. Which, how many more insults does Carol need?
When he says that, she brings this poor fucking child over. So Shannon comes over. Now, a very weird thing happens with the Jack, as well as a fucking abusive. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? It's a bit I talked about in my show that there's a mad stat about how most child molestation isn't carried out by paedophiles, it's carried out by opportunistic abusers. So the fact that it's a child that he can have sex with makes no difference to him. He still wants the power of having sex with someone who doesn't want to have it with him. So he's like, great, I'm going to have sex with her. Now, Carol is like, you are disgusting. Even though she brings her round there, even though she has been, like, watching this child have sex with Doug for however long, she was like, I won't let you have sex with her. You can just fondle her. So he molests this child.
I hate the word fondle.
I know. It was even worse in this
the word
context.
fondle suggests that it's not molestation and it's more fun and acceptable than it is.
Yeah, and like it's tickling as opposed to sort of
Yeah.
horrificness. Oh God! So this is so mad. I feel insane saying this stuff out loud, but it is true. So she's like, I think it's absolutely disgusting what you just did. Even though Doug had been having sex with her, and her rationale was like, yeah, but when Doug has sex with her, she wants it, and it's the purest act that can happen. It's actually a very beautiful display of how much he loves children, whereas you're just a pervert. It's absolutely fucked up what is going on in her head. Mad.
I mean, she's the one... I mean, yeah, we know. I can't even get into it because the entire thing is a fucking shit tip.
So she's been dropping all these hints about what her and Doug are up to and saying, oh, I'm going to turn him in. And Jack just thinks it's another one of her bits of bullshit, basically, and isn't really paying attention to it. But then on August 5th, he's at the Little Nashville drinking with an Australian woman that he's sort of like, you know, trying to get off with. And Carol turns up and she says, I've got something to show you, and takes him to the back of her Datsun and shows her the kill bag with the knives inside and the bin liners and that. And she said she sort of made these things sort of, oh, we were killing before, but she'd always said it was a joke. But this time he was like, fuck, she's serious. And she says, I need you to meet me when the club closes. And she, as she says that, she hands him a note for sex. And he said, yeah, I'll only have sex with you if you bring the 11-year-old. And so, fucking hell, everyone in this story is disgusting. So she thinks, I know how to prove to Doug that I love him, and I know how to get him to fall in love with me. I need to do a grand gesture. I need to kill Jack. And Doug, she sort of said this to Doug. She's like, you know, one day I'll kill Jack for you. And he's like, no, you won't, because you're too fucking stupid. And you know too much, and he knows too much. So Jack comes back into the bar after this and is quiet. And his friends are like, you're right, mate. You're white as a sheet. And he was like, yeah, this girl I used to bang just showed me a bag that she's been killing people with her partner. And they said it was like, they said this is a joke and you're taking it seriously. But go to the police if you believe what she says. But apparently he was visibly shaken. Later that night, about 2:30 in the morning, the Australian woman leaves. And as she leaves, she sees Carol pulling up and Jack gets in Carol's van. So he is in the car and he's like, yeah, all right, then I'll let you suck me off. So he climbs into the back of the van, pulls his jeans around his ankles, is there with his boner out and his boots still on, and starts to push her head into his groin, and is the whole time he's talking about Shannon. So he's...
Do you know what? This story's... The whole thing of this is too oral heavy. It's making me feel a bit fucking ill.
Yeah, it's... What is it? 9:04 now. It's a bit early for that, isn't it? And do you know what? I bet those cowboy boots
it's too early for the physical act, let alone talking about it.
Yeah. It still feels the same in the mouth, doesn't it? So he's basically pushing her to administer oral sex. And he's talking about a child the whole time. And then Carol is like, right, I'm going to do it. And she's like, okay, get on your stomach. And he's like, okay. And she pulls out a gun and shoots him in the back of the head. Now, he doesn't die. All these people in this area don't die when you shoot them in the head. And she feels his pulse and is like, fucking hell. So she shoots him again in the head and then stabs him repeatedly in the back. Now, she suddenly has a thought, shit, you can ID my gun from those bullets. So she's like, okay, well, I need to remove his head. So she takes his head off, puts it in a plastic bag, and then just goes home. She calls Doug on the way back.
And says, Jack's with me.
Yeah.
So when she walks in, she's like, haha, in the bag. I don't know. I don't know if I believe this. I just don't think a woman's got the strength to do all that.
Really? What, to shoot someone?
Because he was found in his own van.
Yeah.
To shoot someone, yes. To cut the head off, possibly. To carry it back, and then to leave him in his own van rotting.
I still think that's something that a woman could do.
I don't think it is physically. I mean, she's not a big woman. I don't think that I would have the physical strength to do something like that. Physically, there's just something that doesn't seem right to me. I don't know. Like, I just think it's not the full truth.
Interesting. That should be when you go on the Guilty Feminist podcast again, if you're like, I'm a feminist, but I don't believe that a woman could kill someone on their own. So she arrives home and there's loads of paramedics there. So she just sees flashing lights and starts shitting her pants. But what had actually happened is Doug's girlfriend had had an epileptic fit. So Carol walks up and goes, I'm a nurse, would you like me to help? And they're like, we're okay. By the way, your glasses and your watch covered
ridiculous.
in blood. Yeah, she does actually. But they're covered in blood.
Fucking right. I'm sorry. This is like a badly written script. I hate all of them.
It's not ideal. So she goes and clears herself up. The poor girlfriend gets sedated and taken to the hospital. She tells Doug everything that's happened, and so they go off to dump the head, and they decide to put it in a bin near Griffith Park. Now, Doug is panicking. He's like, fucking hell, this woman's going to get me killed. I'm going to get the death penalty. Or Carol's going to fucking murder me. So he's bollocking her and be like, why did you kill Jack? It's too close to us. Like, it'll be traced back. You will be someone who will be asked about it. Also, the casings are going to be in his van and you've locked that behind you. So she thought this grand gesture would mean they'd get together and they would have passionate sex. There's no sex. There's just another massive argument. So he was like, well, I will have sex with you, but only if it's a threesome. Another fucking... What is this line that everyone's got? So she brings one of Jack's girlfriends that he has on the side over to the flat and says, should we have a threesome? And then what actually happens is they have sex in Carol's bed and she sleeps on the floor.
Fucking hell.
Everything is depressing about this.
Carol, get some fucking confidence.
It's awful, isn't it? Like, it's absolute... Have you ever had sex where someone's been in the same room?
No. What do you think I am? Have you?
Well, yeah, I think my silence speaks volumes then.
Fucking hell. No.
It was a night out. Do you know what, as well? Actually, I was quite a brave soldier. So it's a night out, and me and my mate were staying like a Travelodge or something in Nottingham, and absolutely hammered. And she's sort of passed out. I can hear her snoring. And there was this guy that I brought back. It's the biggest dick I've ever seen in my life. It was like, I've talked about this before, it was like 2 baked bean cans on top of each other. And I was like, fucking hell. So I'm trying to have sex in the most silent way possible.
So what are you?
Fire extinguisher.
Are you like a nefarious, like, Premier League footballer in a Travelodge? Like, while your friend's asleep? What is this?
No,
it's awful.
Just pissed, one night stand. I can hear my friend's passed out. Bang him on the floor. I'm not on the bed next to her or anything.
Oh, God. I mean, I'm no prude, but lines are being crossed here.
Do you know what? I wouldn't do it again. But it was more like, I remember him getting his dick out and I was like, holy fuck. And he was like, and I was like, do you know your dick is absolutely huge? Which is probably not the most sympathetic way to deal with it on reflection. And he was like, oh yeah, that's just what girls say. And I was like, no, every girl says it to you because your dick is fucking insane, mate. It's absolutely massive. So I think the fact that I managed to have sex with him and not wake her up was actually testament to what a fantastic lover and brave soldier I am.
You are so brave. You're very, very brave. Very. You're our generations. I don't know you. You know what? You're our generation's Vera Lynn. That's what you are. You are really, capturing the nation's hearts and minds and keeping our spirits up.
I genuinely hope I never meet him again, though.
Honest to God, I hate... I mean, no, I'm not... As I say, I'm not a prude. People can do what they like within reason as long as it's, legal and they don't tell me about it. But I honestly... No, I'm very... I wouldn't do that while someone else is in the room.
I wouldn't do it sober, but, your judgment's impaired when you're drunk. I had very bad hair at the time.
Listen, the amount of times I've been fucking pissed, mate... I've never done that. Oh, my God.
Really?
In a Travelodge.
What? I don't think a Travelodge is the worst thing about it, you absolute fucking snob.
Oh, no, I love a Travelodge. But,
well, if you're staying in one in Nottingham, probably know I've had sex on the floor.
I think they call it the Pritchard-McLean suite, don't they? There's the Robin Hood suite and the Pritchard-McLean suite.
Anyway, so yeah, they're not having sex like Carol thought she would, and she's just sleeping on the floor as he bangs another woman in her bed. Now, it's the 11th of August. Jack is missing. There's been sort of a search for him, like no one knows where he is. But Jeanette, his partner, his wife, is out asking people and already suspects that he might be dead. So Doug and Carol rock up that night at the Little Nashville about 10 o'clock. And about a block away, an abandoned van of Jack's is found because it absolutely fucking stinks. So this is about a week later and it's been really hot. So the neighbours say, listen, there's this van that absolutely stinks. Can you come and take it away? They open it up and in the back is Jack's headless body. It's burned and blistered from the heat inside. And it's sort of blackened and a crowd has formed. And apparently this smell is unreal.
People will fucking look at anything, won't they?
They really will, yeah, they really will. There's cuts around his anus as well, which is something that Carol doesn't mention when she's talking about the murder. Now, they assumed straight away from his position and things, they were like, the woman has killed him here, for him to be in this position with his clothes like this. Now, they found the casings in the van, as Doug said they would, but there was no bullet holes in the body, so they're like, well, these might just be casings from something else. So as it's only a block away, everyone keeps pouring into the bar being like, fucking hell, body's been found, and is really sort of giddy and like, there's this and there's that. And then Jeanette is like, oh my God, what if that's Jack? And they were like, no, it's in a van. And she's like, his van is missing. So they wouldn't let Jeanette go and look. And so they're trying to keep her in the bar. So she calls the police and says, I think you found my partner. So they bring her down to the station to question her, because obviously they think straight away that it is her. It was very strange. She's down in the station and Carol is there for some reason, also being questioned, as lots of people around Jack are. And as Jeanette is leaving after being sort of questioned until about 4:30 in the morning, she hears Carol do this high-pitched scream. And the look on her face is like she fell into shock. So that's when she thinks, oh, it was Jack's body then, he's been identified. So, it's so weird. Carol then calls Doug straight away and is like, get those fucking guns out the house. So he runs off. 15 minutes later, he comes back, so he's dumped them somewhere. And all these little Nashville patrons, who are all regulars, are being questioned. And they said, oh, well, there was that night that he came in and said that Carol had shown him a murder bag in her car. He was pretty scared after that. So they're like, okay. And they were like, but he was also with an Australian girl all that night. And we don't know anything about her except that she was... Here's another fucking weird thing, Rachel. This is the only thing they know about her. She's Australian, she's a film editor, and she carried a knife with her. What the fuck is wrong with everyone?
It's very Crocodile Dundee, that, isn't it?
It really is. So they basically think, this is her. We need to find her because she's who's killed him. So Carol's kind of getting away with it. Jeanette, like I say, was grilled till 4:00 in the morning, is let off on bail. But they don't know who killed him yet because there's no head, and that's a big issue. And there's sort of very conflicting accounts from lots of people who are habitually drunk. And that is as far as we can go, because that is 5 fucking pages and an hour's worth of podcast, and we haven't even got them arrested yet.
I cannot. Next one has got to be the last one of this.
It has to be.
It has to be. It has to be.
They got caught at the end.
Yeah.
So, if you can bear joining us for another fucking episode of this, and you know what, I get that if you can't, I'm fair if you want to tap out, but I want these arseholes out of my fucking life.
Yeah, me too. This is worse than the Yorkshire Ripper during the first lockdown.
Maybe. Right, so, that is part fucking 3?
Part 3.
And we will record part 4 very soon. Sorry it's taken so long. Sorry you had to hear about me getting boned on the floor of a Travelodge. I hasten to add, it's not my finest hour.
An hour?
So, we will talk to you very soon and get these arseholes out of our lives.
We've got some nice things to announce soon, hopefully.
We have, but let's just say, make sure you're not doing anything on the 28th of November.
Yeah. Save the date.
Save the date. We will see you soon, and thanks so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.